Hello everyone, and welcome to my dining room table, where I've decided on the first entry for the year 2022, which I hope has started out wonderfully for you. But I decided for the first entry for the House of White YouTube channel, Instagram, and TikTok areas, and then for my first blog to do something that's not overly exciting, like an Edison phonograph or slippers or beaded ball shoes or even a scrapbook. But there's something that people for a long time, even to today, needed if they wanted to wear clothing and have the clothing stay on them. What is it, you might ask? Well, I will show you. Button, who has the button? I have a lot of buttons. In specific, they are shell buttons. And I think they're beautiful. So many different designs, ordinary ones, fancy ones with no holes in them. And like the name suggests, shell buttons are made from bivalves known as clams, either ocean clams or river clams. And it wasn't until a lady gifted me with a shell some years ago, I want to say maybe 7 years ago, did I even know how shell buttons were made. And today I want to share with you what I learned through research and just looking things up. So hold on just a minute and we will get to that. Alrighty then, well, here before you I have a whole bunch of buttons, pearl buttons. And in this middle container here, I'm going to start pulling out stuff that I think you'll be amazed at. I hope you're amazed at, because I thought it was so amazing. This is the shell that my friend gave me. Isn't that the coolest thing? It is so awesome. Look at where a machine drilled out blanks for buttons. And let's see, last year or the year before, maybe it was last year, a lady on Facebook Marketplace had some buttons, and I noticed that in the buttons she was selling were all of these clams that had button blanks cut out of them or drilled out of them. Now, I'm going to be posting in the description below places where you can, or sites where you can research about button making. One of them, well, I think the only one that I have found, oh, look it, it's got a little button in it. Isn't that fun? One of the sites is the website for Muscatine, Iowa. There's another one with a little button in it. And it talks about the history of Muscatine. I'm going to read it. Oh, sure. The iPad switched off. Hold on. Okay. So it's Muscatine, Iowa. And it was at one time called the capital of shell buttons in the world because it produced so many shell buttons. It was started by James McKee and his brother-in-law, William Bliven, in 1895, and they established the Peerless Button Company. Let's see. Yes. And the industry peaked in 1916 and continued through the 1960s. But it's very fascinating, and on the site, it walks you through their museum. Of course, they've got a button museum, and they show the drills that drilled out the clams for making the buttons. I don't know, this is just so fascinating. I hope it fascinates you as well, because who would have thought that something that you make clam chowder out of could also be used to make absolutely beautiful buttons. Isn't that cool? Oh, here's another one. Look, even the tiny baby buttons. Yes, wonderful. there is a, what looks like a cufflink. Ha! Neato, neato. Super bandito. Anyway, okay, so now that you know about where shell buttons come from, a shell, I'm going to show you some, what they, because again, they have, you know, ordinary buttons for, let's see, I've got it here. Oh, you can't see it. So I've got some bodices, and then I've got a combination underwear. And then over here, I've got a natural form era blouse that I will show you here in a little bit. But I also want to show you how they took some shell buttons and made beautiful buttons, pins, cufflinks, how they dyed them. Yeah, so hold on just a second. Right then, here we are back looking at shell buttons. And real quick, I wanted to take you around the table here just to show you the different articles of clothing that used shell buttons. Now, this is a silk Edwardian shirtwaist, and we have shell buttons on it here. This is that combination underwear, that pretty. And it buttons up the front, and it has the buttons here, and it goes all the way up the front. This is another beautiful, I think this is 1916, 1917 blouse. Also has sweet little buttons. And then this is a beautiful silk Edwardian bodice as well. Aren't those colors wonderful? And those have buttons on them. Let's see, over here, shell buttons. And then this is that natural form era dress that has the buttons on them. All made from shells. So cool. Okay, so I wanted to share with you because, again, this to me is just so exciting. Along with that huge lot of buttons that I got from that lady in the shells are all these blanks. Look at how thick those are. Here's one that was in the process of having something done to it. Here's another, and I hope you can see that. Let's see. So after they took and drilled out the blanks, they obviously used other machinery. Oh, you don't go there. Let's move you over here. They used other machinery to sand them down, get them to the proper, is that diameter? We're going to use diameter, probably not correct. And then they used another machine to poke holes in them or punch holes in them. See, look how thick that is. That could have made 2 buttons. Ha! So very cool. So then you had your normal buttons, you know, these, not really exciting, but still buttons. And then look at these beautiful things. Have to do more research. I'm not sure if they had a machine, probably did, to look at all those beautiful decorative buttons. These are so pretty. That one's giant. Sorry, let me get my, that is quite large. Look at all of these beautiful buttons, even these little tiny ones. Ooh, that one's fun. For some reason that reminds me of tic-tac-toe. That one. And they had square and rectangular ones. That's beautiful. And then look at these sweet little ones. These are so tiny. I can't even imagine. Let's see. Ooh, look at this one. Oh, that one's pretty too. But I can't imagine. Yeah, there we go. I can't imagine sewing those onto little baby clothes because they're so tiny. Gasp and away, I totally forgot about the dyed buttons. So I'm going to insert this right here and just pretend like this didn't happen. Another one of the things that they could do with the shells, because they are a naturally occurring product, is they could dye them. So, ooh, this one was probably made from an abalone. Abalones could also be used to make the buttons. And then this one was probably a mussel, but look at what they could do. The beautiful colors that they could dye the shell buttons with. I love it. These people are just genius. Just genius. So many. Oh, here's another one. Hold on. Let me get this out. Let me get this out here. Because they look like. Oh, a peach one. Look at. So pretty. Oh, and here's a blue one. Yay. I cannot believe I was getting ready to put all my stuff away and looked down and went, oh my giddy aunt, I forgot about the dyed ones. All right. Oh, look at this. Oh, still cute. Hold on. Now, come on. There we go. Look at that. It's like shell pink. Isn't that sweet? Okay, I'm just gonna stick this back in here, pretend like I knew what I was doing, and back to our regularly scheduled program. Then not only did they make buttons out of the shells, but they made, now these are, I've got 3 of these. These are pins, and I am wondering, because it obviously looks like a button, if perhaps on a bodice they had, you know, the big button sewn on down here, but then at the very top, they just use that as a pin. It's just my thought, because I haven't seen anything online or in magazines about it. So we've got little brooches, and then a shirt stud. We're also made out of these shells, and then several pairs of cufflinks. And then these. And then this one. No, I think that's a shirt stud too. And then this is a collar stay. So the lace collars in the Edwardian era had a hard time staying up. And if you didn't have collar stays that were built in, you know, using wire or whalebone, they had these. And those 2 buttons would come out of there. And there was a pin, and you would stick that to the back or the sides of the collar, and then you would stick the buttons back on, and it would hold your collar up. So more brilliant use of these shells. Now these are clams, but they were also mussels and oysters were also used to make buttons. I don't know. I just think that is fantastic, and I hope you all were entertained or educated or just bemused by this button video. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will chat with you later. Toodaloo.